If you heard about Habania, it was like a camp where Assyrians from Turkey moved there and stayed there. And actually we had community in Iraq, in northern Iraq mostly, like in Barbar, Sapna, Nala. We have in Al-Qush, in Nineveh Plains, in Nineveh Plains. We have, and till now we also have a big community there. But from Iraq we didn't have departers. Only in 1933 there was a genocide in Samele. Yeah, you have heard about it. And 7th of August is celebrated as a Day of Assyrian Martyrs because of the genocide that was made in Samele. But unfortunately, this last 20 years, a lot of Assyrians moved from Iraq and they went to USA, to Europe, to Australia. But even we have little Assyrians living in Iraq, we believe that it is our homeland. Mesopotamia is our homeland, and in heart of every Assyrians living all around the world, they consider Iraq as a homeland in their hearts. When we visit Iraq, we feel that we are touching to our history. We go to our motherland. So it's very Iraq has a very special place in our hearts.
Do all Assyrians know, like, they do have like huge knowledge about history?
Sure. Even us. Assyrians of Armenia, unfortunately, were cut off from Assyrian community of other countries for 70 years during Soviet times regime. We, in Armenia, in Georgia, in Russia, in Ukraine, in Kazakhstan, we were living here for 70 years during Soviet times, during communist regime, and we didn't have any connection with Assyrians from Iran, Iraq, or Turkey or Syria. But still, they were believing, and we also believe that we are sons of Ashurbanipal.
Oh,
and
so
our capital city is Nineveh. We have a lot of songs dedicated to Nineveh. Nineveh is Mosul, modern Mosul, and we read in history books about Assyrian Empire, and sure, it is our history, it is our identity, and we believe in it.
A question: do you celebrate Akito here as well?
Sure. We celebrate Akito every year on 1st of April. And even we have names of Assyrian names. People put Assyrian names to their children, like Ashur, Sargon, Ashurbanipal, Tiglat, and Nineveh, Ishtar, Enlil, I don't know, Ninorta, Ninebra. Assyrians of Armenia have Nimrud. We have such names.
You're still naming your children here, like, you know, with this.
My son's name is Akkad. Here in Armenia, we have a monument dedicated to Assyrian victims. This monument is in Yerevan. You can visit, and it is dedicated to victims from 1915 to 1933. And every year on 7th of August, that is Assyrian Martyrs' Day, that is celebrated all over the world in all Assyrian communities. Even in Iraq and in Samel, we have a church of victims there. And we also go to that monument and we pray for souls of our victims, and we educate our children that it's a very important day for us, for keeping our identity alive. Because if we forget our past, our history, we shall not have future. Actually, you know, when we go back to history, we had a lot of communities, Christian Assyrian communities in southern part of Iraq, of modern Iraq. Even in Qatar, we had communities.
In Qatar?
Yes. If we go back to our books, to our historical books, we see that there were metropolitan and the bishopric seats in Qatar, Bet Qatra'a, in modern Yemen, in Saudi Arabia.
Which year is that? In which era?
It's the medieval centuries.
The medieval century?
Yeah. Patriarchal residence of Assyrian Church of the East was in, maybe you know, Salq Tisfon, Selevkek Tesifon. It's Kucha. It's around 50 kilometers far from Baghdad.
يعطاك كسرة تشوفون.
اكتسفون, yeah.
And the history, to find out, the existence of Assyrians in Mesopotamia.
So we cannot say that only after genocide Assyrians moved to Baghdad, because before that, for many thousand years ago, they were there as Christian community in Baghdad, in Salih-Qtisfon, in Tikrit even.
Tikrit, yes.
Yeah.
So do you mean, like, for Assyrians, they were existing, like, they used to, like, all of them in Iraq right now?
After Mongols came to Iraq, and they slaughtered a lot of Assyrians, so they had to run to mountains, like to go to Hakkari. So before Hakkari, people of Hakkari came from southern Iraq. Assyrian community of Armenia is connected to modern Iraq because the priest before me that came to Armenia in 2003 was from Iraq. Now he is bishop of Baghdad, of Assyrian Church of the East. He's Grace Mar Elia.
So he's in Iraqi?
Now he is in Iraq, but he served as a priest before being bishop. He was serving as a priest here in Armenia. Because from 1828 we can say that until 2003 we didn't have a Syrian priest in Armenia. He was the first priest that came from Iraq. He is originally from Erbil, Abuna Ishaq Tamraz. He came to Armenia and he was serving here for 12 years. After serving 12 years, he educated me, and later I went to Iraq, to The Hague. I studied in our seminary and I became priest. So I am the first priest, Assyrian priest born in Armenia, but I am student. I'm a student of Abuna Ishaq, he is Mar Elia Ishaq. He is bishop of Assyrian Church of the East in Baghdad. We have, unfortunately, we have now a very small community living in Baghdad, but we have churches there. We have very developed community there, and the bishop of Baghdad was serving here in Armenia as a priest.
Oh, that's nice. So thank you so much. You educated me today. Like, I'm so happy for giving me for this opportunity to get to know the Assyrian community in Armenia, and not only in Armenia, like in the world. So thank you so much, Abu.